Hello there friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Alan. So on our Shorts channel I did a video talking about why B2EMO or B feels so different from other droids. The poor little guy has the shakes. He clearly has anxiety issues about being left alone.
I don't want to be alone.
And also about running out of batteries.
I'm charging.
You've been there all day.
And in that video I saw this one comment right here. I think I've actually seen other people suggest this theory earlier on in the season, and I thought it'd be interesting to kind of take a look at this theory that B2EMO will one day become K-2S0, because let's be honest guys, when shows like Andor make cute and lovable little characters like B, there's always the possibility that they're building up these characters just so that they can rip them away from us. I have trust issues. I mean, directors and writers, they're in the business of making feels. I mean, there's got to be a reason why in episode 11, the build up to the finale, they spend a few minutes making poor B look all lonely and sad and essentially beg Brasso to stay over the night with them just in case Marva comes back. This droid either doesn't understand death, which is both sad and terrifying, because if they, strap blasters and rockets onto it, it'll be a killing machine, or it does understand the concept of death, and this is just foreshadowing something very different that will happen in the last episode. But we'll talk about that in another episode. For now, quick word from our sponsor for today's video, saber.com. They make these babies and they have some great Black Friday deals that will end on November 30th. If you guys buy 2 of any of their lightsabers, you'll get $100 off automatically at checkout, and if you buy 3, you'll get $150 off your entire purchase. Now, for those of you guys who want to purchase just one of these, we do have our promo code still, which is PORG, all caps P-O-R-G, and they'll give you 20% off during checkout. Saber.com has an awesome range of different lightsabers, including dueling sabers that are great for sparring and heavy use, along with their more premium and unique saber hilts and designs that are packed with all sorts of functions and are extremely beautiful to look at. Now, I personally like wielding this first on lightsaber. It is a replica of Obi-Wan Kenobi's first and second lightsaber, great for Form 3 defensive form fighters. I even sleep with this thing because it's so damn powerful. It serves as a great nightlight, keeps the dolphins from beneath my bed from getting to me in my dreams. Check out the description down below. We'll have a link to ownersaber.com and all the information you need about their Black Friday deal. It's sponsors like ownersaber.com that helps us stay independent of the YouTube algorithm, which I'm pretty sure is run by dolphins. Pretty sure. Now, ever since Rogue One debuted K-2S0, we've seen other KX Imperial security droids. They're the ones who carried out the ground assault during the Night of 1,000 Tears, which from a certain point of view kept the galaxy safe from the overly violent Mandalorians. The thing that makes K-2S0 different from these Imperial security droids is not only his lack of a desire to crush rebel skulls, but it's also his voice. I mean, listen to this KX series security droid working the boardwalks of Nymos.
He said hang.
No. You meant to watch.
This voice is a lot deeper and it's more monotone, whereas K-2S0 has a much more different tenor.
Congratulations. You are being rescued. Please do not resist.
That's what Jyn Erso gets for hitting poor Melcy in the head with a shovel. Head trauma, brain damage, that's not funny. It's a little funny. As if Kino Loy already didn't do enough body work on poor Melcy in the prison. But anyway, it's obvious that the voice of K-2S0 here is completely different, which means that he's had some alterations done to his brain module. Or perhaps his vocabulator. That's the device that basically allows droids to speak. Droid brains, just like Trandoshan arms, can be removed from one body and then attached to another, I think. Because science. But for that to happen here, well, usually something tragic does have to happen, like when L337 died in Lando's arm and her brain module was fused together with the Millennium Falcon. Is this also how K-2S0 was assembled too, from different parts, because he clearly is not a standard KX security droid. Now luckily we do know how Andor meets K-2S0 thanks to the Rogue One, Cassian, and K-2S0 comic. It takes place either during the second season of Andor or directly after it, we're not sure yet. Andor and 2 rebel operatives are tasked with extracting Imperial security protocols from a planet in the colonies region of the galaxy. The rebel team attempts to extract the guts from some decommissioned Imperial cruisers stored in a warehouse. There should be all sorts of goodies stored on the computers on this ship. But during the operation, Andor runs into a KX Imperial security droid, and the team manages to disable it. Andor attempts to wipe the droid's memory, which of course includes plenty of commands to detain and kill rebels. But this process doesn't really work that well, and throughout the entire escape, the droid is split between helping Cassian, detaining him, and also ripping his limbs off. Sometimes he tries to do all three, which leads to very confusing moments. Luckily, KX Imperial security droids, for any of you rebels out there, are very easy to shut down. I mean, they have like an off button on their back. Just stupid Imperial design, guys. Cassian and K-2S0 escape, and we get to see him in Rogue One, but by then, he seems to have changed quite drastically. As we mentioned, he has that personality shift as well that I don't believe is solely the product of a memory wipe. It's like K-2S0 has completely turned into a different droid. It's not just his voice that's changed here, there's a deeper fundamental change to him. In Star Wars, there's a history of modifying droids, especially amongst the rebels who were from the Outer Rim regions of the galaxy usually, where second-hand droids and amateur modifications were quite common. L337, aside from being a droid activist, also really liked tinkering with droids, and she actually built herself from a bunch of different pieces. Her brain was part R3 astromech droid, part espionage droid, and she also had protocol droid processors. So the idea of B getting integrated into a KX Imperial security droid is not all that far-fetched, and actually if you listen to the voice of B and K-2S0, they're not that different.
Cassian, can you hear me?
Cassian, I brought what you told me.
I mean, it's really similar when you play it back, right? Now, in R1, K-2S0 was played by Alan Tudyk, great actor and pilot of the Firefly. He actually looks kind of like Zal from the Narkina 5 episode as well. Rest in peace. Now, B2EMO is not played by Alan Tudyk, he's played by Dave Chapman, who also plays BB-8. I'm not exactly sure how he did it, but I heard he went method. Pretty impressive. But it doesn't really matter if these two droids are not played by the same actor because, like, as you can tell, both of these individuals have had their voices heavily modified in order to fit the role. Plus, I believe that if B's brain module was inserted into the KX unit, it's very likely that the K-2S0 voice in Rogue One is a mix in between the normal KX droid's voice and B's voice. So it's going to sound a little bit different. Now, there is the glaring fact that B2EMO is kind of soft. He's not a combat droid. He's a salvage droid. He avoids conflict. What he likes doing is carrying around stuff, and he's good at lifting heavy things. But then again, when L337 was inserted into the Millennium Falcon, she had to bargain and negotiate with the two existing droid brains inside the ship already, and she would form what would be known as the Millennium Collective, which became the personality of the ship. 3 individual minds, because, you know, she loved individualism, but 3 individual minds that worked together for one cause, and there was kind of a blend of different personalities that created the Millennium Falcon's new brain. So I think K-2S0's personality is a combination of the KX Imperial security droid's love for detaining and killing things and B's more meek and gentle disposition. That's why K-2S0 is great at killing things, but he's also kind of sarcastic and kind of uninterested at times and isn't the most obedient type of droid. It's clear that what K-2S0 is not is just a standard KX Imperial security droid with a memory wipe, because memory wipes more or less reset the personality of a droid back to factory mode.
You met K2?
Charming.
He tends to say whatever comes into his circuits. It's a byproduct of the reprogram.
It takes years for a droid to build up experiences and understand those experiences and begin to change their personalities as a result. Eventually they'll develop what some people might call bugs and errors, but it's actually just the development of a real personality. One way you can tell when a droid has not had their personality wiped in a really long time is if they develop a really bad attitude. A great example of this would be Chopper from the Rebels series. He worked with the Spectre units. And also R2-D2 might seem kind of cute and all, but he was notorious for being a little shit. I mean, this little droid had a temper and was grumpy all of the time, especially when dealing with young droids trying to steal his spotlight. Just kidding. BB-8 was cool with R2 and R2 was cool with BB-8. That's just me trying to start some drama for YouTube. And K-2S0, as we mentioned, well, he's got an attitude as well. And then there's the glaring fact that B, well, yeah, he's not doing well. He's old, he's malfunctioning, and there have been a lot of comments since like day one that an Old Yeller moment is going to happen to him. Old Yeller was basically a PSA back in the day about rabies, I think. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, when you grow up alongside your owner for your entire life and then they pass away, sometimes it's hard to keep on going. I mean, I know it's a droid, but it's a droid with emotions and feelings, okay, guys?
Pausing for data lag.
Tell me what she said.
Retention subbed.
His batteries are clearly a cause for concern.
I can lie. I have adequate power reserves.
Don't tell anybody you saw me. Don't tell anybody you know where I am.
That's 2 lies.
Let's have both.
I will have to recharge at home.
Take your time on the way back.
And basically, episode 11 just set up the fact that everyone from Cassian, the ISB, Bell, Cyril Karn, and Sergeant Tactical Blueberry, and even Luthen Rael might come to Ferrix for a huge, huge battle. And if we know one thing about the Rogue One and Andor series is that Tony Gilroy builds a ton of awesome characters so that he can get rid of anyone and still have a bunch of great characters. People are gonna die. Maybe some droids will die too, like B. I mean, Andor is clearly gonna go back to try and, see his mom, who's now a brick, right? Is she a brick now? Is she a brick? But yeah, he's most likely gonna go back home, or he's gonna go looking for B, who's probably with Brasso by now. And well, if you've been following Andor up until this point, from the first moment we see him, to the raid on Aldhani, through the prison experience on Arcana 5, and even with Port Tivik at the beginning of Rogue One, well, Andor is constantly surrounded by death. I don't think he's actually actively looking for death, but some people are just cursed, and some people just find conflict all the time, no matter how hard they try to avoid it. So yeah, if B gets, hit by a stray blaster bolt, or he runs out of batteries, or maybe his battery goes up like a Samsung Galaxy 8 and blows up, it'd be kind of nice if Andor does manage to save a part of him and brings him along for the rest of the story and up until Rogue One. It also will be really cool if we get to see, in Season 2, Cassian finding K-2S0. They might even, retcon that whole situation with the comic. It's very possible. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this theory. I guess we'll find out pretty soon if this happens or not. I'm very excited for the finale. Well guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button down below so you don't miss out on the rest of our awesome content. And as usual, my name is Alan, reminding you that my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy,